What if I told you that at this very moment, someone in your life, maybe a friend, a colleague, or even a loved one, is crafting a lie to tell you? And the truly alarming part is, you might not catch it at all. Studies show that the average person encounters up to 200 lies every single day, from small white lies to major deceptions, without ever realizing it. But imagine if you could turn the tables and become an instant human lie detector, spotting falsehoods the moment they start forming. This isn't just about exposing villains, it's about navigating everyday life where your partner might fib about their plans, your coworker could exaggerate their achievements, or a salesperson might mislead you on a deal. Everyone lies. Research from psychologists like Bella DePaulo at the University of Virginia confirms that people tell an average of 1 to 2 lies per day, often to avoid conflict or boost their image. If you're blind to these deceptions, you're living in a fabricated reality. The good news? Experts from the FBI, CIA, and leading psychologists have honed techniques over decades to detect lies instantly. In this video, I'll reveal their most effective secrets, backed by science and real-world examples. By the end, you'll master how to recognize a liar in seconds, even mid-sentence. And stick around. I'll share a mind-blowing twist that could change how you view truth forever. Let's dive right in with the power of words. Have you ever wondered why some conversations feel off, like the person is choosing their phrases too carefully? That's because verbal cues are one of the strongest indicators of deception, and they're often the easiest to spot once you know what to listen for. Psychologists explain that lying is cognitively demanding. It requires constructing a false narrative while suppressing the truth, which overloads the brain and leaks out in speech patterns. According to a study published in Frontiers in Psychology by researchers Brennan and Magnuson, liars tend to provide fewer details and more hesitant language because their mental resources are stretched thin. For instance, instead of giving a straightforward answer, a liar might hedge with words like maybe, I think, probably, or kind of. These qualifiers act as escape hatches, allowing them to backtrack if challenged. Take a real-life example. Imagine asking your teenager if they finished their homework. A truthful response might be direct. Yes, I did it after school. But a liar could say, I think I pretty much got it done, you know? That vagueness is a red flag. Science backs this up. A 2019 PLOS-1 study by Verrigan and colleagues found that prolific liars often keep stories simple and vague to avoid contradictions. Another verbal sign is repeating questions before answering. This buys time to fabricate a response. If you ask, "Where were you last night?" and they echo, "Where was I last night?" before replying, their brain is racing to align the lie. Research from the American Psychological Association highlights that liars also speak in sentence fragments or overly chronological order, sounding rehearsed. A life hack here: pay attention to personal pronouns. Liars distance themselves by using fewer I statements, opting for he or she to depersonalize. In a Harvard Business School study, researchers analyzed thousands of conversations and found that deceptive people use more third-person pronouns and profanity to embellish. To apply this instantly, establish a baseline. Listen to how someone normally speaks in casual chat, then note deviations during sensitive topics. If their speech slows, rises in pitch, or fills with ums and ahs, deception might be at play. But don't stop at one cue, cluster them. If vagueness combines with hesitation and weak words, you've got a strong signal. Practice this in low-stakes scenarios like casual talks to sharpen your ear. And remember, cultural differences matter. In some cultures, indirect speech is polite, not deceptive. With these verbal tools, you'll catch lies before they fully form, turning everyday dialogues into truth-revealing sessions. Shifting from words to actions, let's explore the silent language that betrays even the smoothest talkers. Myth alert. Many believe liars always avoid eye contact or fidget excessively, but that's not entirely true. A 2015 University of Michigan study published in Time magazine showed that 70% of liars in video clips maintain direct eye contact to seem credible. So how do you spot the real nonverbal signs? It starts with understanding that deception triggers stress, activating the body's fight or flight response, as explained by former FBI agent Joe Navarro in his books on body language. This leads to physiological changes like increased sweating, muscle tension, or restlessness. Look for grooming behaviors, playing with hair, pressing fingers to lips, or adjusting clothes. These are self-soothing actions to calm anxiety. In a Parade magazine interview with former CIA officers, they noted that covering the mouth or eyes is a subconscious attempt to block the lie or hide reactions. For example, if you're questioning a friend about borrowing money and they suddenly touch their face while denying it, that's a potential tell. But always compare to a baseline. Observe their normal posture, gestures, and movements first. If someone who usually gestures openly suddenly crosses their arms or shrinks their body space, something's off. Research from Dr. Paul Ekman, a pioneer in microexpressions, reveals that liars may show fleeting facial cues like compressed lips or asymmetrical smiles lasting less than a second. A practical example. During a job interview, a candidate claiming expertise might smile symmetrically when truthful, but flash a one-sided smirk when exaggerating skills. Science supports this. A study in Current Directions in Psychological Science by Ehrlichman and Mikic debunked eye direction myths, but confirmed that overall avoidance or staring too intently can indicate control efforts. Fidgeting is another cue, but context matters. Excessive movement might stem from nervousness, not lies. In the APA's work on deception, they found liars often exhibit non-congruent gestures, like nodding yes while saying no. Life hack: watch the feet. They're harder to control. Pointed away from you? They might want to escape the conversation, or locked ankles signal restraint. To use this instantly, scan from head to toe during talks. Cluster cues. If sweating pairs with fidgeting and averted gaze, probability rises. But beware over-reliance. A 2022 PLOS-1 study by Ulatovska and Sislak warns that stereotypes can bias detection. Train by people watching in public, noting baselines and changes. Mastering body language turns you into a walking scanner, revealing lies through unspoken truths. Now that we've covered what to listen and watch for, let's arm you with active strategies to force lies into the open. Ever made a mistake by asking yes or no questions that invite easy fibs? That's a common pitfall. Liars thrive on simplicity. Instead, smart interrogators use techniques that ramp up cognitive load, making deception harder. Former FBI Supervisory Special Agent Jim Clemente, in a Wired video on tradecraft, stresses surprising questions to disrupt rehearsed stories. Start by asking open-ended queries that assume facts, like the magic question trick. Instead of, "Did you go out?" say, "What kept you out so late?" This forces elaboration, where liars stumble on details. A Forbes article by Messina Ziegler, drawing from FBI insights, advises drilling down with specifics. Liars forget fabricated elements. Example: if a spouse says they were at work late, ask, "What project held you up?" Then later, "Who else stayed?" Inconsistencies emerge because, as a cognitive science study by Vilgo Polin and Imbir shows, lying taxes working memory. Another powerhouse: the reverse storytelling method. Ask them to recount events backward. Truth tellers recall fluidly, but liars cling to linear scripts and contradict themselves, per APA research. Real-world case: in police interrogations, suspects falter when reversing timelines. Life hack: use the double-check trap. Ask the same thing differently later. "You went to the store, right?" Then, "What did you buy at the store?" Liars mix up versions. FBI tips from corrections emphasize listening more, watching no responses. If they look away, hesitate, or sing-song it, probe deeper. Build rapport first to lower guards, as good cop empathy yields confessions. Surprise shifts. Interrupt mid-story with unrelated questions, juggling their brain. If they confuse facts, bingo. But add one or two signs from before, verbal hedges plus body tension, for confirmation. Practice on friends with harmless games to hone. These questioning tactics transform passive listening into proactive truth extraction, catching liars off guard every time. Building on basics, let's unlock advanced psychological tricks that pros use for instant detection. Question: do you think good liars are untouchable? Actually, even they slip under mental pressure. The baseline trick favored by FBI agents as per Clemente involves noting normal behavior, voice, posture, gestures, then spotting shifts. If a steady talker suddenly stutters on a key detail, red flag. A PLOS One study on good liars found they tell minor fibs but crack on big ones, the 5-second rule. After asking, observe for exactly 5 seconds. Brains fight hardest then, leaking cues like face touches or pauses from fight or flight. Example: a boss denying a raise might avert eyes briefly. The word tris targets weak language. I guess signals doubt. Topic switch? They're panicking. Gently redirect. Interrupt trick. Jump in with pre-story questions. Overwhelming cognitive load. Munoz Garcia's brain sciences research confirms this expose's lies. Fake detail trap. Insert wrong info. Like, it was raining then, right? Truth tellers correct. Liars agree to avoid unraveling. Psychological insight. Some enjoy lying, showing no guilt, but arousal theory from BBC Science Focus says guilt-free lies lack signs. Probe deeper. Life hack. Combine with gut instinct. A psychological science study by Brinker et al. Shows unconscious detection via associations. For high stakes, use clusters. 2 plus cues mean action. These tricks elevate you to expert level, decoding minds like a pro. But here's the peak twist that will shock you. Research reveals that the most convincing liars are not master manipulators. They are often people who have convinced themselves of their own lies, a phenomenon called self-deception, backed by studies in the Journal of Cognition, shows that repeated lies can alter memory, making the liar believe their fabrication. This means traditional cues vanish because there's no internal conflict. Imagine a politician repeating a false narrative so often they internalize it. No sweat, no hesitation. This prepares us for the ultimate reveal. The key to instant detection isn't one trick, but adaptability. There you have it, the comprehensive toolkit to instantly recognize any liar, from verbal hedges and body leaks to clever questions and psychological traps. You've got the promise delivered, secrets from FBI pros and psychologists to spot deception before it fools you. Remember, use these ethically, combining cues with intuition for accuracy around 70% with practice. Now, for the intrigue held till now, the ultimate life hack. Trust but verify by testing one cue daily. Try these out in your next conversation and see the truth unfold. What's the biggest lie you've ever caught? Share in the comments. Did it spark anger or relief? And if you're ready to never be deceived again, subscribe now. 90% of people miss these signs. Are you one of them? Hit like if this empowered you, and I'll see you in the next video with more hidden truths.